Hey everyone, and welcome back to the AI Tech channel. Today, we're diving into a story that's got the internet buzzing and has sparked a major debate. Donald Trump's AI-generated image of himself as the Pope. Was it just a harmless joke, or did it cross a line? Some are laughing, some are outraged, and frankly, it's a perfect example of how AI is now smack dab in the middle of politics and religion. But here's the kicker. Is this just a sign of things to come? Are we going to see AI-generated content become the new normal in political discourse? And if so, what does that mean for the truth? I'm going to break it all down for you. Okay, so let's quickly recap what happened. Just days after Pope Francis's death and right before the Catholic cardinals are set to begin the conclave to elect a new pope, Trump posted an AI-generated image on his Truth Social account. In the image, he's dressed as the Pope. This image was then reposted by the official White House account, which added fuel to the fire. Now, Trump had previously joked about wanting to be Pope, so this image seems to be a continuation of that joke. But the timing and the use of AI have definitely raised some eyebrows. The reaction has been swift and divided. The New York State Catholic Conference strongly condemned the image, saying, "There is nothing clever or funny about this image. Do not mock us." Representative Ted Lieu, a Democrat from California, also expressed his offense as a Catholic. On the other hand, Senator Lindsey Graham defended Trump, suggesting there was strong momentum for Trump to be the next pope. Even Vice President J.D. Vance weighed in, defending Trump's right to tell jokes, especially when compared to starting wars. It's a total mixed bag of opinions, highlighting the sensitive nature of this issue. Let's dig a little deeper. This isn't just about a single image. It's about the intersection of AI, politics, and religion. The image itself is a product of generative AI, specifically a diffusion model, likely trained on a vast dataset of images, including religious iconography. This raises questions about the ethical implications of using AI to create potentially offensive content. Furthermore, the fact that the White House reposted the image adds another layer of complexity. It suggests a certain level of endorsement or at least a willingness to engage in provocative humor. This also highlights how AI can be used to manipulate public perception and create alternative realities, a concept increasingly relevant in today's political climate. The implications of this event can be analyzed through the theoretical framework proposed in Goodfellow et al.'s 2014 paper on generative adversarial networks, GANs, which discusses the potential for AI to generate realistic yet fabricated content. This technology, while innovative, also presents challenges for discerning truth from falsehood, particularly when used in politically charged contexts. Some argue that this is simply Trump being Trump, using humor and shock value to grab attention and rally his base. They see it as a clever way to stay in the headlines and control the narrative. Others believe it's a calculated move to appeal to religious voters who might appreciate the attention to religious figures, even if it's in a satirical way. However, critics argue that it's disrespectful and insensitive, particularly given the recent passing of Pope Francis and the solemnity of the upcoming conclave. They see it as further evidence of Trump's lack of regard for religious traditions and institutions. J.D. Vance's defense is particularly interesting. He frames the issue as a matter of priorities, arguing that telling jokes is preferable to starting wars. This deflects the criticism by shifting the focus to Crystal's support for the Iraq War. It's a classic political maneuver, but it also raises a valid point about the relative importance of humor versus serious policy decisions. However, his argument overlooks the potential for such actions to alienate or offend certain groups, particularly religious communities. The use of AI in this scenario is also worth considering. AI-generated images are becoming increasingly sophisticated, making it harder to distinguish them from real photos. This raises the risk of misinformation and manipulation, especially in the political arena. In this case, the AI-generated image could be seen as a way to amplify Trump's message and create a more memorable and impactful visual. However, it also raises questions about the authenticity and credibility of political communication. The reliance on algorithms and machine learning models to create and disseminate such images introduces new ethical considerations, particularly regarding transparency and accountability. So, on one side, you have the argument that this is just a joke, a harmless bit of satire that shouldn't be taken too seriously. Proponents would say it's a way to engage with current events and inject some humor into a somber occasion. They might even argue that it's a form of free speech and shouldn't be censored or criticized. On the other side, you have the argument that it's disrespectful, insensitive, and potentially offensive to Catholics. Critics would say it trivializes religious traditions and institutions and that it's inappropriate for a political figure, especially a former president, to engage in such behavior. So how do we decide which side is right? Well, there's no easy answer. It ultimately comes down to individual interpretation and values. One way to approach this is to look at the actual impact of the image. Did it genuinely cause widespread offense and outrage among Catholics? Or was it more of a manufactured controversy fueled by political agendas? We can analyze social media sentiment, track news coverage, and even conduct surveys to gauge public opinion. This can help us get a more objective sense of the image's impact and whether it crossed a line. This type of analysis is often used to evaluate the success or failure of political campaigns and can provide valuable insights into public perception. Looking ahead, this incident raises some important questions about the future of AI in politics. As AI technology becomes more advanced and accessible, we're likely to see more AI-generated content being used in political campaigns and public discourse. This could lead to a more polarized and fragmented information landscape, where it's increasingly difficult to distinguish between fact and fiction. It also raises the need for greater media literacy and critical thinking skills, so that people can make informed decisions about the information they consume. The rise of deepfakes and other AI-generated content poses a significant challenge to democratic processes and requires proactive measures to mitigate its potential harms. In conclusion, Trump's AI-generated image of himself as the Pope is more than just a funny picture. It's a complex issue that touches on AI ethics, political strategy, and religious sensitivities. Whether you see it as a harmless joke or a disrespectful act, it's a reminder of the growing power of AI and its potential to shape our world. What do you think? Was it a joke or disrespectful? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more AI news and analysis. Thanks for watching.